So I grew up in the church, but I think in the past few years, I don't know, I just started like witnessing a lot of pain and a lot of terrible things happening around the world. And hurt from Christians and from the church. And I don't know, I just could not really understand like a God who would allow these things. I could not reconcile that idea. And so I really felt like I just couldn't be a part of this anymore. I didn't want to be a part of that hurt, and it just didn't feel right to me. And so I didn't want to call myself a Christian anymore. I started distancing myself, I think, just from the church. I stopped going to a lot of things. For some reason, I still stuck around Christians. Maybe it's just the community I had built up till that point, not sure, but I stuck around Christians. Although I think in my head, in my heart, I was building so much distance. I built up walls my junior year. It was that year that I also, unfortunately, I think was going through a pretty hard time with my mental health again, and falling into a cycle that I've been in before of self-harm. But I think God's hand was still holding me. The word held comes to mind. I was being held the whole time, either through the people around me, including you. And I started seeing a God that was fighting for me. And it was one of the biggest steps, I think, of how I started shifting my perspective towards God. And from there, I was going through my process of deconstruction with you, learning to sift through the clutter of Christianity, keeping what was good and helpful and tossing what was harmful, that I had learned growing up in the church. And I think that was so helpful for me. I'm so glad that you were part of that. I don't know, I think it would have looked a lot different had God not worked through you. After that, I asked you to walk me through the Bible for the first time. I am seeing a very different Jesus than I think came from. I'm starting to really separate those ideas that I used to have of all the brokenness and the hurt from Christians with Jesus. And I don't know, it's completely life-changing, I think, in that way, my whole perspective shift. But it's not smooth sailing exactly. It's hard, it's still hard, and I don't think it was ever meant to really be super easy, but it's worth it. And I'm figuring things out, and it's okay if things aren't perfect, or I think I'm growing a lot in figuring things out, and still choosing to trust God despite maybe things not going my way, or knowing that God is better than those things that I am holding on to still that do make it kind of hard sometimes.